I was having a conversation with somebody at an outreach event at a university nearby, and I said, what do you think about abortion? Just talking to this stranger. We'll name him Phil for the sake of this conversation, not his actual name. And he says, I'm in favor of abortion. I think abortion should be legal. And I said, okay, tell me why. Why do you think that should be that way? And he said, well, I think we need abortion because of the case of rape. And I said, thank God. I kind of paused a little bit and I said, wow, I understand kind of where you're coming from. You know, rape is so awful. It is truly awful. The violence. Talk about a disrespect against human life. What a complete violation that is. And then I asked Phil, I said, Phil, do you know anyone who has experienced a trauma like that? And his face got really serious. And he goes, yeah, my best friend, she was raped. Whew. Sometimes as pro-lifers, we are very passionate people. And we can sometimes get so enthusiastic about what is truly right and just and what God has called us to do to defend the rights of the unborn in the womb. But sometimes we skip over being compassionate and making a human connection with other people. We as pro-lifers are very much against the horror of rape. And thank God in that conversation with Phil, I had the grace to follow up and immediately respond by saying, wow, Phil, I'm so sorry. How is your friend doing? How long has it been? Is there anything we could do to help? I'm so sorry. And Phil and I talked about this for a while. And after we had come to a human kind of connection, I said, Phil, what if there was just a law that came out that said abortion should be illegal except in the cases of rape and incest? Could you and I feel like we could sign that together? And he thought about that for a second and he goes, yeah, actually, I think I could sign that. Okay, for a second ago, this guy was totally in favor of all abortions, and now he is against 99% of all abortions because rape and incest really amount to only 1% of abortions. But I went further and I said, Phil, let me ask you a weird question. Let's say there's a woman and she does get raped. We already discussed the tragedy, the true tragedy that is. And she gets pregnant from the rape. But this woman, let's call her Jeannie, does this very courageous thing and decides to have her baby. She names the baby Tommy. And this is a very good thing for her at first. It's kind of like a light coming out of darkness kind of thing. And a couple of years go by and everything's great. Tommy grows to be about this tall on Jeannie, and he's got these cute curly blonde hair. But as Tommy is developing, his face starts to develop. And it starts developing into facial features of the rapist. And it starts freaking the mother out. It starts causing her panic attacks. It starts reminding her of that horrible night where she was abused at that night of the rape. Sometimes it gets so bad she can't even be in the same room with Tommy. Now, Phil, let me ask you a weird question. Does Jeannie have the right to kill 2-year-old Tommy? And Phil looks at me like I'm crazy and he goes, no, are you kidding me? Of course not. I go, I know. It's a weird question, but can you tell me why not? And he goes, because that would be like murder. You can't kill Tommy. Tommy's like a baby. That would be like child abuse. So I said, so the question of abortion is not so much the question of the circumstances of how we were conceived, but really the question comes down to, is there a difference in the humanity of 2-year-old Tommy and Tommy in the womb? And his face just lights up and he goes, oh, I get it. And he became totally pro-life on the spot. See, this is the power of when we make a human connection with someone and actually find common ground whenever possible to bring out the true issue of abortion, of the goodness of all human life, and the humanity of the unborn being the only question that matters.